Question number 22. What is the equation of a line that passes through the point 4, -6, and has a slope of -3? Right, for this question, you need to know the formula for a line. And the formula for the line is y equals mx plus b. Okay, this is a standard form. And, excuse me, we need to replace the m with the slope and the b with the y-intercept. Okay. Well, the first clue we have is the question actually tells you slope is the -3. So we're going to plug in -3 for m. So it's y equals -3 x plus b. Now we need to actually find b. Well, to find b, we're going to take the other type of information that it passes through the point 4, -6 and plug it in. Well, 4 is going to be x value. The first coordinate, the first value is always the x coordinate, and the second one is going to be the y. Okay, so y is going to be -6. Plug it in. X is going to be 4. All right, plus b. All right, and let's solve. -3 times 4, that's -12. Plus b equal to -6. Let's add 12 to both sides. Right. And b is equal to 6. So the equation of the line is going to be y equals the slope -3x, right, plus 6. And there you have it. And that'll be choice 1. Number 23. We have a subtraction question here. Be very careful when you are subtracting that you have the correct polynomial subtracting the correct other polynomial. I'll explain what that means. Okay. We have 4x squared plus 7x minus 5 is subtracted from 9x squared minus 2x plus 3. What happens is if you put it on top of each other, the 9x squared, the second one, actually goes on top. It comes first. And from here, we are subtracting 4x squared plus 7x minus 5. So let me use a different color here so you can know that I'm subtracting. Okay, I'm subtracting the entire thing, the entire bottom part. That's getting subtracted. Let's see what we get. 9x squared minus 4x squared, and 9 minus 4 is 5. I'll leave it as x squared. -2x minus a positive 7, or -2 minus 7 is going to be -9x, and 3 minus a -5, or 3 minus, the two minuses becomes a positive, so it's 3 plus 5 becomes positive 8. And that would be choice 2. Okay, 24, we have a graph over here of a parabola, and the question is asking for what are the roots to the equation. And roots just means solutions, another name for solutions. What is x? That when you plug in the number for x, you'll get 0, right? And the easier way of doing it, since we have the graph, is actually when where does the parabola crosses over the x-axis, right? Where does it cross over? The 2 points it crosses over is this point over here and this point over here. So when x is -6, x is -6, and when x is 3, right? That is when you have y equals 0, or the equation is equal to 0. So just look for the choices, -6 and 3, that is choice 3, and those are your roots. Okay, number 25, we're looking for the y-coordinate of two equations. Now, this is actually a systems of equations, and question, and let me rewrite it. In other textbooks, you might see it looking like something like this, right, with the curly brackets. X minus y equals 3. Right, this question might get kind of long, and it's actually quite a difficult one. First, I'm gonna use substitution to solve this, and I'm gonna transform the bottom equation over here. I'm just gonna rewrite it. Well, how does it look like if I added y on both sides? I want to solve for x. I want to get x by itself, so I'm adding y to both sides, and x, right, without the y, because I'm moving to the other side, is going to be equal to 3 plus y. So the first thing you want to do is actually take one of the equations and solve for x or solve for y. Get the variables by itself on one side, and that's what I did here. Now x is the same as 3 plus y. Okay? These two are the same, okay, because it's equal sign. So next time I see x, right, instead of x, I can always replace it with 3 plus y. So I'm going to go back to the first equation where I see x over here, right? Again, I can replace x with 3 plus y, and that's what I'm going to do. Right? So I'm going to rewrite the first equation. It's going to be 3 plus y, right? I'm replacing x, plus 2y equals 9. Right, now we can solve it out. There's no more x, there's only y. We can combine the like terms and solve for y. Well, y plus 2y, that's 3y. Now we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. 3y equals 6. Divide by 3. You get y equals 2. And that is the answer. The y coordinate is 2. Choice 2. Okay, number 26. What is the additive inverse of the expression a minus b? So additive inverse just means what can I add to this expression, right, to get 0, right? For example, the additive inverse of 3 would be negative 3, right? Because if I add 3 and negative 3, I'll get 0. The additive inverse of negative 6 would be positive 6, right? I'll get 0. The additive inverse of a would be negative a, negative a. So if I add them together, I'll get 0. So if a minus b, what is the additive inverse? What can I add to it to get 0? Right? Or another way you can think about it is, what is the inverse or opposite of a? Well, that's going to be negative a. What is the opposite of negative b? Well, that's going to be positive b. And guess what? This is my additive inverse. If I add this to, right, if I add this to the original, a minus b, right, I will get 0. Right? Everything else will add up to be 0. So my additive inverse is just the opposite. It's going to be negative a plus b. Choice 3. Okay. What is the product of 12 times, or 12 and 4.2 times 10 to the 6th power? Well, you can multiply this out. 12, right, times 4.2 times 10 to the 6th power. Okay, so let's leave the 10 to the 6 alone for now. Just 12 times 4.2. Well, 12 times 4.2 is going to be 50.4 times 10 to the 6th power. Well, here it looks like I have my answer. It's choice 1. It must be choice 1, right? Because that's my answer. It's actually not, because in scientific notations, the decimal, and I'll point out decimal here in red, the decimal, right, needs to be just one place after the first number. Can't be two places. So actually you need to move the decimal over 1. So we're going to rewrite it. If I move the decimal over 1, it's going to be 5.04. Okay, and because I'm moving decimal over 1, I need to change the exponent here. Instead of 6, I'm moving it left, so it's going to be up 1. And the answer is actually 5.04 times 10 to the 7th power, which is not choice 1. It's going to be choice 2. So the correct answer is choice 2. I'm sorry, not choice 2. It's choice 4. Choice 4. There you go.